signature methods, step-by-step systems, brand vocabulary. All of these things are so powerful to create. But once you have them, what do you do with them? A brilliant framework that never gets used won't help you grow your business. Too often in my experience, we're figuring out what we're going to say and how we're going to teach what we do, but then we don't take the most important step, which is to actually use them. The real magic happens when you put frameworks to work, when you turn them into lead magnets or podcast episodes, signature talks, programs, marketing that gets you remembered and referred. So that's why by the end of today's episode, you're going to learn exactly how to leverage your frameworks with what I call the framework game plan. 4 steps to making sure every framework you create becomes a growth engine for your coaching or consulting practice. Let's do it. Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, the show that helps coaches and consultants get clear on how to talk about what you do, simplify your offers, and have more fun in your business and beyond. I'm Annie Franceschi, brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. I'm here to help you clarify your message, package your expertise, and streamline your systems to grow a business you actually enjoy. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. Welcome back to our third and final episode in the Find Your Frameworks series. Back in episode 1, which is technically episode 34, we defined what a framework is, why they matter, and I gave you my 3R test for making them valuable, making sure your methods are easy to remember, repeat, and refer. In episode 2, or episode 35, we unpacked the framework pyramid. These are 3 types of frameworks worth having: signature frameworks, supportive systems, and sticky phrases. And today, we're going to bring it all together talking about leverage, how to use those frameworks once you make them to build your authority, scale your delivery, and keep your pipeline full. I'm not going to let you create gold and then never go use it. This is where the framework game plan comes in. It has 4 steps, and I'm going to walk you through each of them today. They are name it, explain it, frame it, maintain it. Step 1, name it. You can't leverage what you haven't clearly named and claimed. The minute you give something a name, you're going to give it power. It's going to become something that people can ask for, that they can book, that they can share. I used to give business and branding advice by the hour. It was valuable, but forgettable. When I came around to giving it a name, package your process with the expert, it became a method, something people could recommend to others by name. Last week, I shared the story of Michelle Edelin. She is a powerful keynote speaker and leadership coach, and she's a perfect example of this in action. When we worked together, she already had Activate Your Inner Excellence as her keynote, but she came to me wanting to create new offers. I saw an opportunity to organize them around the excellence theme that she had already established. We worked together through packaging your process, through my method, to figure out how to extend her story. What we discovered is that she had all this expertise around getting employees and teams to speak up more in meetings, helping them go from silent observers to what I call confident contributors. We named this Speak Your Excellence and created this Verb Your Excellence naming structure. What that means is that now when she goes to create new things, she can do a verb plus your excellence to have it be an entire world of branding. So she can really lean into excellence and not just have it be her keynote. Her keynote is Activate Your Inner Excellence. Her employee workshop is Speak Your Excellence. Her team coaching experience is called Connect Your Excellence. This gives her a real platform to grow from. So this is why it is so incredibly important that we choose intentional names that reflect what we actually do, what the benefits of all of this are. Once you have a name, you really need a simple way to explain what your framework or your method is and what it does. Let's go back to the 3R test from episode 1. Can somebody take your step-by-step system or your method or your formula and remember it, repeat it, and refer it? I've given an example in this series of my brand chips messaging formula. That works because I can explain it in 60 seconds or less. CHIPS, category, hook, ideal client, problem, and solution. It clicks immediately, which is why it has gone from initially me creating it just for a free lead magnet to a core teaching tool that I use in almost every engagement. Another fabulous example of this is James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. He has a newsletter called 321. Three quotes, two ideas, one question. I recommend this newsletter all the time. It's one of the very few that I read almost every issue for because it's so easy to remember what it is and why it's valuable. When I tell people about it, I don't say sign up for James Clear's newsletter. I say you should check out 321. Three quotes, two ideas, and one question every week. For this, I want you to be thinking how to practice your one sentence line for each framework. If you can't explain it simply, what is the problem it solves? What is the solution it provides? You can't expect others to share it accurately. It's not going to work in this way that we want frameworks to work, to make our work more scalable, more teachable, more repeatable. So if you can't say it, others aren't going to be able to either. We want to make sure that we can clearly explain it, not with fancy words, but with clear words. All right, so far we've talked about name it, explain it. Step 3, frame it. Okay, Annie, what are you talking about? Frame it, it's a framework. This is about making your framework visual, tangible. It might be a model, a shape, a diagram, a metaphor, something that people can see and remember. This is a step that I don't think enough people take, and I think it's a really important way to challenge yourself to push your methods, your formulas, your frameworks forward by making them more visual. When I was writing the book Establish Yourself, that the show is a continuation of, I really challenged myself to think if Establish Yourself framework were visual, were a shape, what would it be? Could someone draw it? The Establish Yourself framework is embrace your story, shape your business, translate your value. I thought for a long time that that process was driving down a road. But when I was having beta readers read my book, I kept asking them, does it feel like a road to you? They were like, no, this is a process of leveling up, of going upward. And that's when it hit me that the Establish Yourself framework really is more of a pyramid. When I draw it, it is a pyramid. It is like a triangle with 3 levels. And it starts with embrace your story, moving up to shape your business, all the way up to translate your value. It isn't like going down a road at all. It's not linear in that way. It's a process of elevating your business. So having that literal pyramid to work up from really makes that transformation visual. Another great example of this is my friend Brandon Berkmeyer. He is a personal brand strategist for leaders, and he has a tool that he calls the brand triangle. So the brand triangle has 3 sides: create content, the other is build community, and the other is make impact. And you are at the center. The brand triangle is a guide for how you build your personal brand. I love it because it's simple. If someone can draw it, they're more likely to use it. It doesn't have to be a literal shape, though. When I say frame it, it could be giving it some sort of a visual metaphor. I think Stan Phelps does this really well. He is a speaker. He uses color coded metaphors to help expand his universe of goldfish growth. Purple goldfish, pink goldfish, silver goldfish. He uses all these terms to brand books and talks and workshops. You can literally see the progression, but with every new angle he takes on the goldfish idea that small changes lead to big impact, it gives him ways to extend this universe he's created of frameworks. Whether it's a triangle, a pyramid, or a color system, visuals make your ideas easier to teach, remember, and scale. So we've been going through our framework game plan of how we're going to really leverage our frameworks. Name it, explain it, frame it, and last but not least, maintain it. Don't just create it and forget it. I want you to build what I call a framework bank. This is a documented collection of your signature frameworks, supportive systems, and sticky phrases. A place where you can pull from them for content, products, talks, and offers over time. I discovered a tremendous need for this when I was writing the book Establish Yourself. My gosh, I felt like every day I was coming up with, the 4 key C's and the Establish Yourself framework and consistency containers and all of these systems. I went, whoa, 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 slow the horses down. How am I going to remember all this? Because I had at least 20 things I was branding to put my arguments together in the book. And so I just opened up a Google document and I created a table and I called it my framework bank. So this is a place where I can put the name of the framework, what it does, and what it connects back to. I love this tool, and it's got tables where I write down what each of my frameworks and methods are. This is my personal framework vault. It's something I can refer to constantly when I'm creating podcast episodes, proposals, or new offers. This is a really big key between just creating all this stuff and being able to use it is having it right in front of you, having it accessible and organized in some way. It does not need to be complicated. It can be literally even a sheet of paper. Maybe you keep a notebook that's like your framework notebook. But writing these things down over time so you don't have to go, what was that thing? What was that thing that I do? If you put that in front of you, you're more likely to talk about it, to teach it, to use it. And when you do that, it's going to catch fire. Having them documented means nothing is lost. Everything can be repurposed and built upon time and time again. When you name it, explain it, frame it, and maintain it, you are going to have frameworks that allow you to stand out. So you're not just a coach anymore, you're the creator of the X method. You're going to be able to scale. You can turn one idea into a book, a course, a keynote, a retreat, and you're going to build equity. Your intellectual property becomes more of a brand asset that you can license, teach, or even sell someday. And here's the best part. So many of my clients already have the raw material for at least 3 to 5 frameworks before we start working together. They often just need help spotting them, naming them, structuring them so they work together strategically, and even documenting them, building that framework bank. This is exactly what I do when I help you package your process. When we work together, I look at your entire body of work, and together we pull out the hidden gold. We package it into signature frameworks, supportive systems, sticky phrases, elements you can leverage across your entire business. If you've been listening to the series thinking, I know I've got some of this already, but I have no idea how to pull it together, I would encourage you to set a free time to talk with me. You can set a free 20-minute consultation at greateststorycreative.com/consult because I know you have a lot of potential and you do have teachable concepts, but it often takes somebody with a strategy brain, someone with more than a decade of experience in branding, positioning, and packaging to really see those connections and help you put together your framework game plan. Before we wrap up this Find Your Framework series, let's look at the big picture. In episode 1, we talked about what frameworks are and why they give you authority, scalability, and referability, how they'll move you from just another consultant to being the person with the method. In episode 2, we explored the framework pyramid, signature frameworks at the top as your calling cards, supportive systems in the middle as your teaching tools, and sticky phrases at the base as your brand vocabulary. And today, we covered how to leverage them with the framework game plan. Name it, explain it, frame it, maintain it. When you follow these steps, your frameworks stop being a dusty file. They start being a marketing machine, a sales driver, a positioning tool that cements your authority for years to come. You do not have to figure this out right away. It is a step-by-step process. But as always, it is most important to take action. And I know you've got the first step because you already started by listening today. Let's go do this. Hey, do you like surprises? The credits are about to roll, but just like a Marvel movie, stick around to the end for something I put in just for you. Thanks for listening to the Establish Yourself podcast. I'm Annie Franceschi, and if you're enjoying the show, it would mean so much to me if you follow it, leave a quick rating, or share it with a friend. And for free branding resources and more ways to work together, head to greateststorycreative.com/podcast. Now here it is, your moment of magic. While we're talking about documenting your frameworks, I find it helpful to have a place to park all my swirly ideas. You know, the ideas you get in the shower or you're driving in your car. I feel like I always have a million browser tabs open. Something that's helping me lately that may also help you is creating parking lots. I open the Notes app on my phone and create a parking lot for every project or big thing that I'm working on. So I am doing a retreat at Walt Disney World this February, and I kept thinking of 20 different things. I'm driving over here, I'm getting groceries, etc. I need a place to put all that so it's not taking up space in my brain. So I created a retreat parking lot note on my phone. I have built a folder of parking lots for various projects in my personal and professional life. And that way, when I just have those random ideas, I don't have the pressure to figure out where it goes or how to organize it. I just know it goes in that parking lot. So if that helps you, go build yourself a parking lot on your phone, on your notebook, but just some place to free up your brain to not be thinking about 20 things at one time. You've got this.